Welcome to another Kings of War 3rd Edition Battle Report. Orcs vs. Abyssals, 1995 points. The scenario was dominate. Greetings all. I've been having some trouble with my army list, and a couple of the online guys helped me out to square me away. The biggest thing they said was to make sure that I had another unit that could kill stuff. And so to that end, I did add some Abyssal Horsemen. And I also added an Abyssal Fiend to the list just because I like the giant in my other armies. So let's go through the whole list and let's look at it. For the start, I have 2 regiments of Abyssal Guard, both with imps and both with two-handed weapons, 2 regiments of Abyssal Ghouls, 2 hordes of Molochs with imps. One of them has the Pipes of Terror and the other one has the Boots of Striding. An Abyssal Horseman regiment with the Potion of the Caterpillar, or Brute, whatever it is, an Abyssal Fiend, 3 Abyssal Warlocks, and Baal. Alright, this is just a variant on the orc list I played last time. I don't know exactly all the magic items or everything, but basically it's 2 hordes of Great Axe, 3 regiments of Morax, 6 regiments of Orklings, 2 Crudgers, 2 God Speakers with Heal and Bane Chant, 1 with the Shroud, a regiment of Centaurs, and a regiment of Hunters of the Wild. So let's talk about deployment here. The Abyssals, I rolled and got the top section and set up a unit first. On the far left, my Abyssal Horsemen, which are a new unit for me, set up near the hill. In the middle, an Abyssal Warlock. Next to them, a regiment of Ghouls, then a regiment of Abyssal Guard behind the wall there. Then my first unit of Molochs, it has the Pipes of Terror, then Baal and another Abyssal Warlock. Then another unit of Abyssal Guards, another regiment of Ghouls, another Abyssal Warlock, a unit of Molochs with the Strider, and then on the right another one of my new units, the Abyssal Fiend. So down at the bottom we have the Orc army. Over on the left we have 2 Morax regiments trying to hold that flank with a unit of Orklings in front of them. Then as their Hunters of the Wild, they have made a scout move slightly into the woods. Behind them there is a horde of Great Axe. Next to them is another horde of Great Axe with 2 units of Orklings in front of them. Then the Centaurs, and then 2 units of Orklings, and behind them was a unit of Morax. You can tell that he is poised to take the middle with those 2 hordes of Great Axe because I really think that there's probably no more powerful infantry unit in the game than hordes of Great Axe. So anyway, that's how the game was set up to start. So this is the Orc turn 1. Since he doesn't have any shooting, all he did really was just kind of move straight forward. The Great Axe horde on the left going into the woods, and everything just kind of stayed on line. Over on the right, the Morax unit did angle toward the Abyssal Fiend, and the 2 units of Orklings there moved up to shield them. So you can see here the effect of the changes I made in my army list. I was at one time thinking of just chaffing with other armies, and now just decided to take a moderate amount of shooting just to get rid of the chaff units as best I can. So I took 3 Abyssal Warlocks for 270 points, and that was a steal for what they're able to do. Since they have unit strength 1, they regenerate, they inspire. For 90 points, you really can't beat them. So on the left, my Abyssal Warlocks over there wavered his Orkling regiment. The one in the middle, there was one on the left, and it was destroyed by shooting. And then the next one was wavered after it had taken 4 wounds. So my plan was doing well. I was just trying to get those chaff units out of the way so that I could charge straight in. I had a slight movement advantage, and I do mean slight, at least with the Molochs. Everybody else was going to get charged because of Wild Charge, because I think he had some items to help him out with Wild Charge. So I had to get rid of the chaff anyway, because no matter what, that was going to get me. So the Orcs continue to move forward. The Forces of Nature regiment moved out of the woods and was standing there, I guess trying to tempt me into doing something. The Centaurs this time came to the top of the hill so they could line up on my Molochs down below. And one of the mistakes in the game is going to be over there. For some reason I've been making mistakes with Molochs lately. And anyway, I'm thinking that nothing good is going to happen of this thing on the right flank over here. So on my turn 2, I just kind of shuffled forward some more. My shooting had got I think he had healed the left unit of Orclings, and I got him back up to 4 with my Abyssal Warlock. In the middle, I wavered another unit, put 3 wounds on it, and when he moved his centaurs to the top of the hill, I managed a quick 5 to them. Over on the right, the Abyssal Fiend had breathed fire on those little Orclings and just put 2 wounds on them despite having Fireball 10. Just a thing I want you to note is I did push that one ghoul regiment out there just far enough for them to be charged, and I was just kind of hoping to draw them in to a too soon charge so I could take out that regiment and then maybe open up the unit of Great Axe for a charge. So some of my plan anyway, I let the ghouls get charged. They took 6 wounds, but I had an inspiring dude next to them, but really the roll wasn't all that great to hurt them. Over on the right, he moved at an angle and he healed up his centaurs 3, which is really good. For some reason in my head, I didn't think that you could throw spells on allied units, but I can't seem to find it in the rule, but maybe that was in 2nd edition. So easy to get stuff messed up like that. So anyway, I'm really where I want to be right at this instant in time, but there's the rest of the game to go, so we got to figure out what's going to happen. So I didn't think I had a picture of this, but I did find it. You can see over on the left-hand side that all the chaff is gone, but I think the Abyssal Warlock killed that unit of chaff with just by shooting at it, and that opened up a charge on one of the Morax regiments from my Abyssal Horsemen. So I was going to sacrifice one of them to just to get rid of one unit of Moraxes and that unit strength, and then. As it turned out that I rolled horrible. I mean, just horrible. I did 5 wounds. I should have done double that easily with the armor of the Morax guys versus the armor of regular Orcs. So that was dead. I mean, that was bad because then that unit was going to die. I did manage to take out his Hunters of the Wild unit with a flank charge from the Abyssal Guard. Over on the right, all the chaff is gone, either between me shooting them and I think the Molochs charged and then backed up, but that was a dumb move, as you'll see when the next slide comes up. So here's Polly's turn 4, and it was going to be devastating because I really thought that I could kill that one unit of Moraxes, and instead I lose my unit of Abyssal Horsemen. I knew I was going to get hit by one of those units, but I didn't know which ones. So in this case, I lost them for nothing. Over on the right flank, as I said before, I shouldn't have charged and got rid of his chaff because it shelters me as well. And then I caught a dual charge from his Moraxes and his centaurs, and he rolled really, really, really high. I mean, I kind of expected that, to be in trouble, but I didn't expect to get one-shotted like that, especially with 2 inspiring sources there. So it didn't really matter which way they went. But anyway, so I was in deep trouble because I lost 2 of my combat units in one go, and there were still 2 hordes of those Great Axes, which are just one of the nastiest units in the whole game. So this is my turn 4. Over on the left flank, my Abyssal Guard went ahead and charged into his Great Axe unit and put them up to 9 wounds. Abyssal Guard are pretty good, especially if somebody's got armor 5 and 6. I mean, they do a pretty dang good job. I don't know how many wounds is on them before from the other attacks, but still, I got them in a good position. My my Abyssal Warlock got the other unit up to 4 with shooting, which was kind of nice. In the middle, I had a quadruple charge on one of his rightmost horde of Great Axe and destroyed them. Then I was able to turn the Molochs toward his horde because I knew that there was nothing he could do after he killed the Abyssal Guard. And then my ghouls actually turned toward the right to threaten the flank there. Right next to his centaurs, my Abyssal Warlock put another wound on him and got him up to 6, which was good. And my Abyssal Fiend charged in. It did 2 lousy wounds out of 7 shots. So I thought I was going to lose another unit right there, but game definitely turns just in the fact that I got rid of one of those stupid hordes. They have a high unit strength, and like I said, anything they touch dies. So here we go on Polly's turn 5. Up in the upper left, the one of the Morax units went ahead and charged and killed my Abyssal Ghouls. I was hoping that it would pull them out a little bit further, but now they were in a good position to run back toward the middle. As you can see, my Abyssal Guard that was fighting them died. He healed him up back up to 6 wounds, so that was good for him. Down on the right middle, his Snotling base charged in and did 4 wounds to my Abyssal Ghouls. The over on the right, the Moraxes had got my Abyssal Fiend up to 4 wounds, but he just shrugged it off. The Centaurs turned to try to face the middle of the table, and I thought my magic user was going to have to take one for the team there, but we won't know until the next turn. So on my turn 5, the Molochs went ahead and charged and destroyed that unit of Great Axe, which is a fantastic thing to have happen. I was moving also Bale and the Abyssal Guard toward the objective. Up in the upper right hand corner, I had just charged the ghouls into the into the centaurs and wavered them. Finally, I mean, I got them to close to 1 waver. I mean, I rolled it like 4 times, I think it felt like, and I was just 1 short, but this time I did waver them, and that's going to keep them from getting toward the middle of the table. On the right, the Abyssal Fiend finally acted like an Abyssal Fiend and destroyed the unit of Morax. He was up to 4 wounds, which wasn't that bad. So as you can see here, that there's really nothing to do on turn 6 because one of the Moraxes can charge into my Molochs, but they're just going to die. I mean, they could potentially hurt them, but I don't think they could one-shot them, which is what you need to do with the morale. And I did have inspiring from Bale standing there as well. All right, this is the final shot of the game. He did charge into my Molochs and got them up to 9, which is very respectable. But 9 wasn't going to be enough with Bale there to keep an eye on him, and so that was going to be the end of the game because next turn I would have probably killed that unit since they were already on 7 wounds from the shooting and stuff, and 18 swings for 3s and anything buts, and they were pretty much there was no way that they were going to survive the game. My Abyssal Warlock had taken 5 wounds from those stupid Orclings last turn, but he was still okay as well. Up in their upper right hand corner, of course his guys were wavered, and we didn't even roll it out because the Abyssal Fiend would have had charged them in the rear on the next turn. So this was the end of the game, and if you count up what I had Bale, that's 1, the regiment is 2. We figured that the Moraxes are going to be gone, so that's so my Molochs is 3, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and even if both of his units survive, 6 to 4, and so the Abyssals finally pull it out after a string of losses. All right, so during the course of this game, I was incredibly frustrated by dice. It just seemed like there was nothing I could do right dice-wise, and I didn't really ask my guys to excel. I just wanted them to be quasi-average, but they were not quasi-average for a few things. And Polly was rolling really well on some of his attacks, and that was hurting. Matter of fact, like I said, I was down a lot of points really quick when I lost the unit of Molochs on the right side and the Abyssal Horsemen on the left side. But I still had preserved the middle of my battle line was still good to go, and I was inflicting casualties, between the some of my shooting stuff that I had in this game, and that worked out a little bit just to weaken things. Not so much; it didn't kill them outright, except for the chaff, which they should have killed outright. But they did a good job, of weakening stuff, I guess is the point with the shooting. This is my new list with the 3 Abyssal Warlocks. I really like the list now. That did a great job of getting little crappy units out of my way. The Abyssal Fiend I liked. He didn't roll very well, but I did like him, because he's fairly stout. He's got the Fireball 10, so that's another way to get rid of chaff instead of being stuck in a fight and getting flanked. The Abyssal Horsemen, I was really disappointed in them, but I know that they have potential. I mean, I was just bragging. I said, this is the best group of horsemen in the game, and then I just rolled crap. So, so anyway, they just did not do well this game. I think that the big turning point of the game was when I got the quadruple charge into the most unit of Great Axe and destroyed them, because I was steadily chipping away at the left flank. I couldn't kill it, but I was chipping at it. So basically anything that I hit them with was going to take a unit out. So that was kind of the big deal. I just made another mistake with the Molochs. Got him too close to his units. I should have just stayed behind the woods. So only a unit would have had to went into the woods to attack me, and it didn't matter which one, because neither one of those units was going to one-shot me, but both of them definitely were going to one-shot me. So that was a big mistake on my part. Probably the only bad mistake I made. Again, the other ones were just bad dice occurrences. But I really like this version of the list. It's a lot more killy, and the little bit of lightning bolt and stuff like that really makes up for getting rid of some of that chaff. And it's just a much better list overall than the list I've been playing. As a matter of fact, it almost gets to the point where I'm thinking it might be too good. But for right now, I'm just going to play it and see what too good looks like for a little bit. As far as Polly's list, like I said, I don't like the allies in a list, but I really like those centaurs. I've become a believer of those guys, because they're fast. They come with Pathfinder. They hit well. Just a great unit. I could see why you would take them. For me, I guess the only thing that I think I would take instead of maybe those Hunters of the Wild is maybe trying to combine some stuff together and just get another horde of it could be young axe, it doesn't matter, just something that holds ground and has unit strength. So, but you can't deny that 3 more axe units is not great, and you can't deny that 2 great axe units is not the perfect. I still think that, like I was telling him, I said, if nothing else, I would drop the Hunters of the Wild for 2 war drums. That would have been so good in this game. The war drums would have just kicked my butt, even with the good charges I was having. Adding 2 more to them, it was kind of nullified by the fact that I'd taken some brutal stuff this game. So the war drum won't be as good as it should be normally, but that's irrelevant. I just think that they would be a much better unit than taking like that unit of Hunters of the Wild. Because if you had plenty of chaff, you could have just put a unit of Orclings in front of that unit if he needed to chaff it up, to have some chaff in front of it. He had plenty of troops to do that with. So anyway, that's just some minor stuff, but like I said, I really do like the Centaurs. I think that's a really good unit, really fast unit, and I like how that they performed during the game, and they did great during this game. They were alive at the very end, which is fantastic if you've got a unit that could live through the whole game. Bale, he's doing basically what Bale does, but I really did better this game because I had a missile fire advantage. There was no reason to go flying across the table like I've been doing the last few games. I just wanted to sit back and chip away at that chaff, so that once I get to the point, even if something has to charge out and die first, and on top of that, I could use anything I had for chaff on, as far as that's concerned, as long as I got a flank charge or a good return charge, as a swap out. So anyway, great game again, Polly. I'm sorry I was so frustrated. I'm sorry my dice sucked so bad, but in the end, I was able to prevail. So thank you, and I hope we get to play again soon.